Well, hello and welcome back to Math Plus. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. You will notice on your screen where we left off on Friday. We are in Lesson 7 and we are Module 6-1. We started the lesson, so I'd like for you to go ahead and turn the book over to where we are going to begin. Okay, you should be ready for exercise 2. We're going to talk about some peanut butter here today. It says a food company that produces peanut butter decides to try out a new version of its peanut butter that is extra crunchy, using twice the number of peanut chunks as normal. The company hosts a sampling of its new product at grocery stores and finds that 5 out of every 9 customers prefer the new extra crunchy version. So we're going to highlight our new ratio, and it's 5 out of every 9 customers prefer the new extra crunchy. I want to go ahead and put notes here on the top. Let's look at our different things we have. We have the regular crunchy. Right, we have regular crunchy. And now we have a extra crunchy. Oops, there we go. And then the other number we're going to look at is the total customers. All right, so go ahead and write that up there at the top. This will make our job a little bit easier for filling in answers for A. Okay, so we have 5 out of every 9 customers prefer the new extra crunchy version. So we have 5 that prefer the extra crunchy, so I'm going to put 5 here. We have a total of 9 customers, which is going to go here. And that means what's left? Well, this is going to be 4 like the regular, because 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay, now that we have this down here should be very simple. We're going to make a list of ratios that might be relevant for this situation. Roman numeral 1 says the ratio of the number preferring new extra crunchy to total. Well, if I look at the top, new extra crunchy is 5 and total is 9. Roman numeral 2 says the ratio of the number preferring regular crunchy to total. Well, up at the top, my regular crunchy is over here of 4, and my total is 9. Roman numeral 3, the ratio of the number preferring regular crunchy to number preferring new extra crunchy. All right, go ahead and write your ratio. Make sure you put it in the correct order. The answer should be 4 to 5. And the last one, the ratio of the number preferring new extra crunchy to the number preferring regular. Make sure it's in the correct order. Extra crunchy should be 5 is first and 4 is second. Remember, it's very important to make sure we put those in the correct order. Section B. Section B says, let's use the value of each ratio to make multiplicative comparisons for each of the ratios we described here. Well, I want you to go ahead and I want you to circle the word value, and I'm going to give you a note as to what I want you to write for value. So I want you to remember that the value is a reduced fraction. And my other suggestion is, as you're writing that, is to put this as your example because it's an answer on your Google form. If I would give you the fraction 2/10 or the ratio 2 to 10 and ask you to reduce that fraction, you would look at them and you would find something that they have in common, and they both have the number 2. They're both multiples of 2. So I would reduce 2/10 to 1/5. This will be an answer on your Google form. Multiplicative comparisons. I would like for you to know that multiplicative comparisons is an answer that I want written as a fraction. Multiplicative comparisons is where you're going to be comparing two things, like crunchy peanut butter, regular peanut butter, and we're going to have to find something that we're going to multiply it by. And you're going to see that in just a little bit. All right, so I'm going to ask you to write, obviously, a multiplicative comparison, a fraction answer. The first one says the number preferring new extra crunchy is blank of the total number. Since I'm looking for a fraction answer, I would look at the top and find out that the new extra crunchy is 5, and my total is 9, so I would write the fraction 5/9. The number preferring new extra crunchy is 5/9 of the total number surveyed. Roman numeral 2, the number preferring regular crunchy is blank of the total. Once again, at the top, regular crunchy is 4, and total is 9. So I would read this. The number preferring regular crunchy is 4/9 of the total number surveyed. Would you fill in Roman numerals 3 and 4? If you wrote the fractions correctly, regular was first, so we would put that on top. New extra crunchy is second, so I would have the fraction 4/5. Regular crunchy is 4/5 of those preferring new extra. Roman numeral 4, you should have put the fraction as 5 on top this time. So I would say that the new extra crunchy is 5/4 of those preferring regular crunchy. Okay, so let's come down here on C and let's actually start solving some problems. Let's try and remember these numbers up here because it's going to help us with the next few problems. If the company is planning to produce 90,000 containers of crunchy peanut butter, how many of these containers should be the new extra crunchy variety, and how many of these containers should be the regular crunchy peanut butter? All right, so what we need to remember is we have 90,000 containers. That's our of crunchy peanut butter. So this is kind of considered our total. Since our question wants to know how many of these containers would be the extra crunchy and how many of these would be the regular crunchy. So let's start with this fraction, and we're going to go ahead and label. If you remember up here, we had 5 that were extra crunchy, and our total was 9. That was our total. We're going to continue keeping this, except for this time, we're going to change our total from 9 to 90,000. That's our total. Now, if you remember up here, I said multiplicative comparisons is where we're going to compare two things and multiply. So we're comparing extra crunchy to total. We're going to multiply. I need to know what 9 times what is 90,000. 9 times what? Well, if we want to get our calculators out, we sure can do that. Some of you already know how to do this. I'm going to take 90,000. And I'm going to first divide it by 9 to get 10,000. So I'm going to hope that 9 times 10,000. Well, let's take 9 times 10,000. And sure enough, we have 90,000. So we multiplied. Well, of course, whatever we're going to multiply on the denominator, we're also going to do up here on the numerator. So 5 times 10,000, most of you can do that in your head, is a total of 50,000. So we have 50,000 extra crunchy. So we've answered part. How many of these containers should be the regular? And we also want to know how many of these should be the extra. So now we have to find out the regular. Well, we could just do this by saying if there's a total of 90,000 and 50,000 is my extra, what's left for the regular crunchy? Well, we'll just do a subtraction problem. That would be one way of solving. So we have left a 40,000 regular crunchy. Here's where we have 50,000 to 90,000 for the extra. If I would ask you to find the value of this ratio of two numbers, your value would be 5/9. Okay, we're going to turn over to the next page. Okay, let's look at D. If the company decides to produce 20,000 containers of regular crunchy peanut butter, so we need to know that. How many containers of new extra crunchy peanut butter would it produce? So we're looking at comparing the regular to the containers of extra crunchy. Well, if you think about what the original ratio was in the very beginning, so our original ratio, remember, we're looking at regular. We had 4 regular crunchy peanut butter to 5 extra. Okay, now where did I find that information? I found that information right here from the very beginning, our 4 and 5. All right, so I have 4 regular crunchy peanut butter to 5 extra, and I'm going to change my regular, if you notice, to 20,000. So I'm going to change it to 20,000. I'm sorry, not 22,000. What did I multiply 4 times to get 2,000? I think 500. Let's see if I can take 4 times 500. And I did. So I'm multiplying 4 times 500, which means I have to do the same down here. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 2 zeros. So I found out how many containers of new extra crunchy. I have 2,500 containers. Just realized we forgot our R on the extra on the first problem, didn't we? All right, let's look at E. If the company decides to produce 10,000 containers, important information, of new extra crunchy peanut butter, how many containers of regular? So once again, I am comparing extra to regular. Extra to regular. So let's go ahead and put the extra on top and the regular on the bottom this time. And if you remember, right up here, the extra was 5. The regular was 4. This time I'm going to change the extra. I'm going to change it from 5 to 10,000. So I'm going to leave my 10,000 up here. Because I have 5 extra, I'm changing it to 10,000. What did I multiply by here to go from 5 to 10,000? All right, so let's see, take our 10,000. So we're going to, it's 2,000. We're going to say it's times 2,000. Because 5 times 2,000 equals 10,000. So that means we get to multiply down here. times 2,000. 4 times 2 is 8, plus our 3 zeros. So we found out that if we had 10,000 extra crunchies, that means our regular would have to be 8,000. So we changed our ratio from 5 to 4. We found out that we went from 10,000 to 8,000. That's our ratio. If I would ask you to give me the value would mean to reduce this back down to 5 to 4. Okay, last problem. Let's look at what we're comparing this time. Okay, it says if the company decides to only produce 3,000 containers of new extra crunchy peanut butter. So we're comparing new extra crunchy. How many containers of regular? So we're doing almost the same thing as we did up here. We're comparing extra crunchy to regular, but this time instead of having 10,000 containers, we're going to have 3,000 containers. So when we're comparing the two, remember we had 5 extra. It was our original ratio to 4 regular. So for every 5 containers of extra crunchy, we had 4 regular for a total of 9. But we don't want total this time. We're going to do extra and regular. 3,000 extra. So is 3,000 going to go on the top or the bottom? Well, since it says 3,000 extra, we have extra on the top. We have to keep our extra on the top. We have to find out what we're going to multiply by. 5 times what is 3,000? Well, if I took 3,000 and I divided it by 5, I got, I only did 300. Let's try that again. 600. Well, let's double check. Is 5 times 600 3,000? It is. So we're going to take 4 and we're going to multiply it by the same thing. 4 times 6 is 24, and add our 2 zeros for an answer of 2,400 regular. Now, when you get ready to do your Google form, you're going to be asked to solve some problems similar to this, but the numbers are not going to be as large. The directions are going to ask you just to put the number. You don't have to put the label. If you do put the label, obviously the Google form might count it wrong, but your teacher will probably manually grade it if that happens. All right, well, good luck, and reach out to your teachers if you have any questions.